What if everything you believed about the royal family was a lie? What if the lineage you thought was solid, the history you memorized from documentaries and tabloid headlines, had a secret buried so deep that even the closest members of the family had no idea how explosive it would be when revealed? Kate Middleton, the poised and graceful future queen, reportedly broke down in tears after seeing something that had been hidden for decades, something Princess Diana took to her grave. And the implications? They reach far beyond heartbreak, into a scandal that could shake the monarchy to its very core. It began with a discovery that no one saw coming, a long-forgotten letter written by Princess Diana. For years, the world has speculated about Diana's private thoughts, her fears, and her secrets, but nothing prepared the public, or Kate Middleton, for the truth contained within her words. In that letter, Diana hinted at a secret about her youngest son, Prince Harry, a revelation that could alter not only the family dynamic, but also the way history remembers them. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. Imagine the scene. Kate, alone in a quiet room, opening the envelope that had been hidden away for decades, unfolding Diana's delicate handwriting, and reading lines that would make anyone's heart race. A mother's fear, a daughter-in-law's shock, a future queen's despair, all entwined in words that were meant to remain private. The DNA test that followed confirmed what Diana had feared, what she had hinted at so carefully, what she had written in trembling ink. Prince Harry may not be the biological son of Prince Charles. Can you even begin to grasp the weight of that moment? The polished, composed Kate Middleton, known for her elegance under pressure, crying uncontrollably over the implications of a truth that has haunted the royal family for decades. How does a family survive a revelation like this? And more importantly, what does it mean for the monarchy, for public perception, and for the future of the line of succession? But here's the kicker. The story doesn't stop with Kate's tears or even the DNA results. This is a story of deception, of private anguish, of letters written in confidence, and of secrets carefully kept until the moment they could no longer be hidden. And while the world speculated about Harry's parentage for years, no one expected Diana herself had left the confirmation, her final secret, in writing. A secret that, when verified, leaves not only Kate in tears but casts a shadow over everything the public thought it knew about the royal family. So, why does this matter now, in 2026? Why is this revelation emerging at this exact moment? The timing is as shocking as the secret itself. The palace has never faced scrutiny like this before, with modern technology and leaks ensuring that nothing stays buried. And as the documents are verified, the reactions are immediate, raw, and deeply human. It is one thing to read about royalty in history books. It is another to watch the drama unfold in real time, with Kate Middleton's heartbreak serving as a stark reminder. Even the most iconic figures are not immune to family secrets. But what Kate discovered in that letter, and what the DNA test confirmed, is only the beginning. There is more, far more, hidden in Diana's words, far more that could change the course of royal history forever. And what came next would change everything. And no one saw it coming. What could Princess Diana have written in private that would shake the monarchy decades later? The answer lies in a letter, tucked away in a forgotten drawer, hidden from palace eyes, and only recently rediscovered. It wasn't the kind of note you glance at and shrug off. No, this was a document brimming with fear, foresight, and secrets so explosive that even the calmest of readers would feel their chest tighten. Imagine holding the handwritten words of one of the most famous women in history, words that reveal truths no one dared to speak out loud, words that would leave Kate Middleton in tears years later. Diana had always been meticulous, aware of the eyes watching her every move. But this letter was different. In it, she spoke not to the public, not to the tabloids, but directly to those she trusted most. And in those lines, she hinted at a secret about her youngest son, Prince Harry, a truth that had been buried beneath palace protocol, media speculation, and decades of rumor. The language was subtle, almost cryptic, yet deliberate, like a puzzle only the most attentive could decode. It wasn't gossip, it was confirmation. Diana was warning the people she loved about a reality no one could yet accept. What's striking is how human this letter feels. There are no royal facades, no carefully constructed sentences for public consumption. It is raw, emotional, and urgent. Diana writes with the weight of knowing the world may never understand her motives, yet she insists the truth must survive. She mentions fear, betrayal, and uncertainty, words that resonate far beyond the walls of Kensington Palace. She writes of her son's future, of her hopes and her fears, but beneath it all, there is a single, undeniable thread. She is revealing something that could change the course of history. And here's where it gets truly shocking. Experts who have examined the letter say its authenticity is undeniable. The handwriting, the paper, even the ink, everything points to Diana herself. And inside, the message is as clear as it is devastating. Hints that Harry's parentage may not align with what the world assumes. Suggestions that Charles's role in Harry's life might be far more complicated than previously reported. The stakes are enormous. For decades, the royal family has projected unity, strength, and tradition. But this letter? It shatters that illusion. Can you even imagine being in Kate Middleton's shoes? Opening that envelope decades later, reading Diana's foresight, and realizing that a secret you had only speculated about for years was in black and white, staring back at you. The emotional impact is immense. The heartbreak, the shock, the disbelief. It is a moment that humanizes royalty in a way tabloids never could. This wasn't just a secret. It was a warning, a plea, and a revelation all at once. And just when you think you've absorbed the full weight of Diana's words, the letter delivers another twist. There are details in the handwriting, subtle indications of her intentions, that suggest the truth is even more explosive than the DNA test would later confirm. The implications extend beyond family dynamics. They touch on succession, public perception, and the very history of the monarchy itself. But what Diana revealed in that letter, and the subtle clues she left behind, only set the stage for the moment that would break Kate Middleton completely. A moment that would leave the future queen weeping, alone with a truth so heavy, so undeniable, that nothing would ever feel the same again. And just when it seems the secret is fully exposed, the next revelation, the one tied directly to a DNA test, is about to turn the royal world upside down. Even the most composed person can break when faced with a truth they never expected. For Kate Middleton, that moment came in a quiet room far from the public eye, a room that suddenly felt like the center of a storm she had no way to control. She had known the royal family carried secrets. Who doesn't? But nothing could have prepared her for the contents of the letter and the DNA results that accompanied it. One moment, she was the poised, graceful future queen. The next, she was trembling, tears streaming down her face, confronting a reality that had been carefully hidden for decades. Imagine the scene. Kate sitting alone, hands slightly shaking as she unfolded Princess Diana's letter, reading the delicate cursive lines that contained a mother's warning and a mother's heartbreak. She had always admired Diana, the courage, the empathy, the vulnerability that charmed a nation. But now, Diana's words weren't comforting, they were devastating. The letter suggested that Prince Harry's biological father may not be Prince Charles. The implication hit Kate like a punch to the chest. Every story she had heard, every assumption she had made about the royal family, suddenly felt fragile, unstable, and incomplete. The emotional weight of this revelation was compounded by her love for Prince William. How do you reconcile loyalty to your husband with the truth that challenges everything you believed about the people closest to him? Kate had spent years navigating palace protocols, public appearances, and intense media scrutiny. Yet nothing could have prepared her for the combination of grief, shock, and disbelief she felt in that private moment. Even those trained to remain calm under pressure, royal brides, diplomats, and public figures, are human, and this was a test no one could rehearse for. And then came the DNA confirmation. While Diana's letter was subtle, emotional, and cryptic, the DNA test left no room for interpretation. It verified what Diana had hinted at, what the palace had quietly tried to suppress, and what Kate had dreaded even imagining. Prince Harry's parentage was not what the public assumed. The evidence was irrefutable, cold, and clinical, yet the implications were hot, personal, and explosive. Kate's tears weren't just for Harry, not just for the shock of the revelation. They were for William, for the monarchy, for the family she had married into, and for the fragile image of history that had now been shattered. The irony is almost unbearable. The world has long been fascinated by the private struggles of the royals, yet rarely does anyone witness the human side of their pain. Kate Middleton, who appears so composed at public events, was now exposed to the raw truth behind the headlines, the whispers, and the gossip columns. The reality of Diana's foresight, combined with the DNA confirmation, forced her to confront a truth that no amount of preparation could soften. A single DNA test had the power to rewrite history. For decades, the world assumed the royal lineage was untouchable, a seamless chain from Charles to William to Harry. But what the test revealed was anything but seamless. Prince Harry, the beloved younger son of Diana, carried a secret in his very blood, a secret that Princess Diana had quietly foreshadowed in her letters, but one that had never been confirmed until now. Imagine the weight of that truth. For Harry, it wasn't just numbers and genes. It was identity, legacy, and a family story rewritten in an instant. For the monarchy, it wasn't just an embarrassing revelation. It was a shockwave threatening the stability of public perception and royal protocol. And for Kate Middleton, it was yet another layer of heartbreak, tying directly to the tears she had shed over Diana's foresight. The palace reportedly moved quickly once the results were confirmed. Private meetings, hushed conversations, and emergency consultations unfolded behind closed doors. Staff who had been sworn to secrecy whispered in hallways. Advisors debated how to handle a revelation that could not remain hidden forever. But even with the full machinery of the monarchy working behind the scenes, one thing was clear. The public, once aware, would never look at the royal family the same way again. And yet, the most human element of this revelation is Harry himself. Can you imagine learning that your parentage, something so central to who you are, may not be what you've always believed? The emotional stakes are enormous. Harry's life, carefully chronicled in biographies, interviews, and media coverage, suddenly contains an undisclosed truth that challenges everything fans and historians thought they knew. It's a confrontation with legacy, with trust, and with a mother's private warnings finally made undeniable. The twist doesn't stop there. This isn't just about genetics or history. It's about relationships, loyalties, and public perception. William, Diana's firstborn, must reconcile his brother's revelation with his own life, his own position, and the media storm that's inevitably coming. Kate must navigate her role as a future queen while absorbing the implications for her children and the line of succession. And the public? They're left to grapple with the reality that the stories they were told, carefully curated by tradition and protocol, were only part of the truth. It's almost cinematic. The DNA results on a polished table, the letters' delicate handwriting, Kate's tears, Harry's quiet shock, and William's stoic face masking the storm beneath. History books might one day write this as a minor footnote, but for those living it, for Kate, for Harry, and for the palace, it is an earthquake. And the tremors are far from over. Because the DNA test wasn't the final piece of the puzzle. It was a key, unlocking doors that had been closed for decades. And while the revelation itself is shocking, it's what happens next, the decisions, the confrontations, the consequences, that will truly determine the course of the monarchy. The royal family had survived scandals before, but nothing like this. And as Kate and Harry grappled with the truth, one thing became clear. The legacy of Princess Diana, her final secret, and the impact of that DNA test were about to change everything. For the monarchy, for history, and for the world watching. The truth, once revealed, cannot be unseen. Kate Middleton's tears, Harry's shock, and the confirmation of Diana's final secret have left the royal family, and the world, grappling with a reality that few could have imagined. For decades, the monarchy presented an image of perfection, continuity, and tradition. But now, that image is fractured. The DNA test confirmed what Diana had feared and hinted at in her private letters. Prince Harry's parentage may not align with the public story we've all known, and the implications are profound, both emotionally and historically. For Kate, the revelation was deeply personal. She confronted not only the heartbreak of learning a truth about the family she married into, but also the weight of responsibility. How to carry this knowledge, how to support William, and how to navigate a monarchy suddenly under immense scrutiny. For Harry, it was a confrontation with identity, legacy, and the love of a mother whose foresight and courage had protected him, even from beyond the grave. And for the monarchy itself, the revelation poses a question that history rarely answers so clearly. How do you reconcile centuries of tradition with an unexpected truth that changes everything? But there is also a human lesson here. Even in the gilded halls of royalty, no one is immune to family secrets, betrayal, or heartbreak. Diana's foresight, her courage to record the truth in